The ceremony happens every year at the first Sunday in May. It is a ceremony where we honor the officers that have passed that year, or any officers that historically were never put on the wall, and it's a chance for us to honor them. It's also a chance for the families to come together, to be there to remember their loved ones, the ones that they've lost, and for police services to come together, to be there to, again, honor the families, honor the fallen. The fact that this ceremony brings together, police services from across Ontario, and we're such a big province, we have that representation from Thunder Bay all the way to Cornwall to Windsor. And every year that the people that do come to this, they look forward to this ceremony. So I think that's unique, that it brings the people together, and it brings the officers, the families, and gives them a chance to reconnect. As of 2025, there's 283 names on the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation Wall of Remembrance. A significant number, and obviously, that goes back a long time. Thunder Bay, where I'm from, we have 3 members on the wall. 2 of them I know personally, but it's, every single name on that wall is important. These officers, the men and women, they've put the uniform on to serve the public, and they've given that ultimate sacrifice. So it's their memory, it's, what they did, and then it's for the families too. We're honoring the families behind those people too.
All we ask for those that keep us safe are that they go to work each day and they come home safely at the end of the day to their loved ones. And we know that this is not always the case. That's why we're on these hallowed grounds, remembering people that gave their lives. When I have gotten to know the families of those that we've lost, nothing has changed my life more than understanding the sacrifice that they made. But it's not only understanding the sacrifice, it's understanding the lives that were lived. Everybody passes away, but not everyone lives. The people on this wall lived. They lived a life.
From a ceremony that was 25 years ago, that was, not on TV, it was just probably not even recorded, and it was just the people there now to, the fact that we're broadcasting it. That's what I want to continue to grow. The organization wants it to continue to grow, and to be important, to be significant. That, yes, this happens every year, but yes, it's important that we do this every year to make sure it continues.
$283. That's how many names are on the Wall of Honor, the names of all known fallen officers. But what about officers who died decades or even more than a century ago? Well, it takes a lot of time and research to uncover these stories. One such officer, Rainy River Police Service Constable Wilford Farrells. In early October 1910, devastating forest fires swept through parts of northern Minnesota and northwestern Ontario, including communities along the Rainy River. Several towns and villages were destroyed, people were displaced, and others moved in. During the night of October 8th or 9th, 1910, Constable Farrells was on patrol when he was attacked by unknown assailants. He was shot once, severely beaten, and left in a ditch. He passed away in hospital on December 21st, 1910. He was 27 years old. Here's more on the historical relevance of the memorial.
Yeah, we began probably around 1997 talking amongst the police associations that we really need to do something for all police officers killed in the line of duty in Ontario. The only place that any recognition existed was at the Ontario Police College. There was 2 walls, but all the names were not there. The current names were added, but the historical names were not added. So we began with a committee, and we all sat down and brainstormed. We all were in like minds. This has to happen. We started the build in November of 1999 and had it completed in time for the 1st May of 2000. Iggy Puchka was the artist who we hired to design them. Our intent was the subtleness of the senior officer, the old officer saying, go forward, do your job, but don't ever forget these officers. We struggled with what were we going to put on the memorial. The senior officer Association representative on our committee came in with a letter from the widow of David Nicholson, who was a diver with Waterloo Regional Police. And the letter was to the Chief of Police, saying, on behalf of our family, we want to ensure that you understand that David was our hero in life, not death. The 5 of us at that committee meeting, we each read that letter, and we each looked up and went, that's it. I counted up the other day, it was about 45 historical officers that we had found and ensured that they got on the memorial to pay respect to their loss to the community. I started in Kirkland Lake, Ontario, and when I transferred out of there 6 years later, I found out one of the officers well before me was killed in a traffic accident while on duty. That bothered me. 6 years of me policing that community and never knew we had an officer killed in the line of duty. So I took steps to make sure that never happened again. And I've transferred many different places. And I said, everywhere I go, I'm going to start looking into finding out if there's other officers killed in areas. And I just kept finding them. I still have one historical one. I guess I just can't retire from it. 1841. If it's approved by the board, it'll be the oldest police officer killed in Canada. There's a lot of history in Ontario, and a lot of it is captured on this wall. A death is always tragic, but if we can learn from it and get better and to ensure that other officers don't come to the same result, then it's a little easier on everybody to go, okay, we've learned from that. For the 5 of us that started all this, we always said it was like, this was our baby. We ate, drank, slept day and night until this was unveiled. I get goosebumps every time I talk about it.
Thunder Bay Police Service Constable Craig Town was 65 years old when he passed away. He was injured in the line of duty 3 decades prior. We met with his wife, Jillian, who says policing was a dream come true for Craig.
We started off living in Port Credit, and he had, he tried a couple of jobs. We got married young and wanted to start our family right away, and he tried a couple of things that didn't work out so well. We visited a friend of his in London who loved being a policeman, was great at, had a great family life and everything. So we had a long talk, and it was like, well, Craig, maybe try. He did, and he qualified for either Peel Region or Thunder Bay. And we chose to move to Thunder Bay, where it was clean and we could camp and enjoy the outdoors. And you know what? Craig will tell you it was the best job he ever had. I would say in his eyes, he felt like he'd really fulfilled his destiny in his eyes. Craig was injured due to somebody having a drug overdose. They were calm and cool when he was brought into the station, and Craig was helping him, and in a split second the guy changed. He got Craig's gun and shot him twice, once in the shoulder where Craig fell against the wall, and the second time in his jaw, and that bullet was the one that severed his carotid artery and then had severe damage to his spinal cord. He was 33 years old, and our children were 1 and 3. He'd been a policeman for 2 years. Craig flatlined 3 times that day. He shouldn't have lived. It's a miracle that he ever survived. It was 2 years of hospitals and rehab and all of that. So that was quite the journey. Was nonverbal at the beginning. He had a feeding tube and all of that, but it shattered his existence as he knew it, and we had to start again. The community of Thunder Bay and the boys and girls in blue kind of got together. They built us a wheelchair-friendly house in Thunder Bay with lots of volunteer hours and just so much support from the community, and Craig was able to come home.
I love Thunder Bay. It's been great to me. Before I was injured, and it's been phenomenal to me after my injury. I don't think there's another city in Canada that could have supported it.
We were a month short of our 5th wedding anniversary, so it was quite a change for a young family to now be living a life with somebody that was disabled. When he was first being treated, we were told he was maybe be lucky to see 50 years old, but Craig actually ended up living to see his 65th birthday and died 1 month later. It was August 16th, 2023, when he passed away. He'd been in and out of hospital quite a lot over the years, but his final stay in hospital was only 9 days. And the moment that he died, we looked out the window and a rainbow burst across the sky and the horizon turned to gold. And it was like Craig saying, I'm finally free. I'm finally leaping around heaven, after having lived such a difficult and onerous life. I would say that, believe it or not, once he was injured, he became an even better person. He changed that dedication he had to working on his physical abilities and being strong and jogging to work every day and applied it to building his soul and his spirit. Anyone that was down and out or having a hard day, he would pray all the time, honestly, to really have the courage to deal with the very, very hard life that he was facing. He even prayed for the man that shot him every day of his life.
After talking with my wife and discussing the whole situation, I realized that hating wasn't hurting anyone but me.
I know the good news is that I know that guy eventually got his life on track and was able to make good, which was just what we wanted from the beginning. Till the day he died, he would tell you it was the best job he ever had, in spite of everything, And then I would say once he was in his chair, he became this kind of beautiful, meek and mild man. He gave people courage and he gave them inspiration, and he was always really gentle and just, made them feel they could overcome anything, because they would look at him, with compassion, and then, it would help them maybe deal with a tough thing, because they would see how Craig was so brave in dealing with the cross that he had to bear. For Craig, the memorial was so important. He's been to the national one a couple of times, but he nearly always came to the one here. And he was so proud to be rolled around in his uniform and, still be a policeman. He loved being a policeman, and to be sort of policeman in memorial for Craig would mean the world. He was always a real man of justice. Even before that, he really just wanted to make the world a better place. And he thought he would do it in his police uniform, but those of us that know him knew that he made it better, even more so once he was in his wheelchair. Craig's favorite comedian was Monty Python, and he would often adhere to their adage, always look on the bright side of life. And he never gave that up till the last day. So I want to say to anyone that's struggling, just try to look for the blessings and the good things. And it might be really hard, but they'll be there, even if they're really small, to just water those seeds, and they can become something beautiful, just maybe not what you've expected.
When you're coming home, son, I don't know when, but we'll get together then, Dad. We'll have a good time then.
The Ontario Police Memorial is more than a place of reflection. It is a powerful reminder of the importance of policing in maintaining the safety and well-being of society. Each year, the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation must raise funds to cover the cost of maintaining the Wall of Honour and the names on the wall, as well as hosting the family members of fallen officers at the ceremony of remembrance. If you are able, consider donating by e-transferring donate@opmf.ca. In just a few moments, the ceremony will begin, starting with the honor roll and reading of the names, followed by the regimental parade, and finally, the official ceremony. I'm Julia Supa. It has been my immense pleasure and honor to share these important stories of heroes in life, not death. Thank you for watching.
High County Constable John Fisk, King Township, 1804. Constable Timothy C. Pomeroy, Middlesex County OPP, 1829. Constable Charles Richards, Port Robinson, 1854. County Constable John Morrison, Russell County, 1880. Constable William Pope, London, 1891. Constable John R. Davey, Cornwall, 1892. Detective Henry H. Fair, London, 1892. Constable Robert Rankin, Chatham, 1893. Constable William Lindsay, OPP, 1894. Constable Alexander Wright, Brockville, 1895. Constable John Hickey, Brantford, 1897. Constable Michael Toohey, London, 1898. Constable William Boyd, York County, 1901. Constable James Barron, Hamilton, 1903. Provincial Constable William Irving Jr., Webwood OPP, 1904. Constable Archibald Powell, Woodstock, 1907. Constable John Acton, Toronto, 1908. Constable Wilford Fales, Rainy River, 1910. High County Constable Alfred F. H. Campow, Essex County, 1912. Chief John A. McCarthy Jr., Stratford, 1913. Constable Matthew Hamilton, Stratford, 1913. Constable William Rourke, Coburg, 1915. Detective Frank A. Williams, Toronto, 1918. Sergeant Samuel J. Arneal, Kingston, 1919. Constable George Armstrong, Nippigan, 1919. County Constable Albert C. Springstead, Wentworth County, 1919. Chief Angus J. McClellan, Port Arthur, 1920. Constable Richard A. Beard, Napanee OPP, 1921. Constable Reginald Pryor, Hamilton, 1921. County Constable William L. Picard, Kent County, 1922. Constable William M. Holloway, Guelph, 1922. Constable John R. Smythe, Fort Erie OPP, 1922. Constable Joseph Truman, Thorold, 1922. Constable Fred Lefebvre, North Bay, 1923. Sergeant John Urquhart, Cobalt OPP, 1923. Traffic Officer John E. Waddell, London, 1925.
County Constable Everest Leframbois, Essex County, 1925. Constable Frederick Rains, Hamilton, 1925. Temperance Inspector Thomas H. Constable, Cochrane, 1926. Constable Charles W. St. Charles, Madoc, 1926. Traffic Officer William O. K. McGilvery, Department of Highways, Toronto, 1927. Traffic Officer Andrew McKay, Department of Highways, Newmarket, 1927. Traffic Officer Lee W. Metcalf, Department of Highways, Grimsby, 1927. Traffic Officer Hiram F. Callahan, Department of Highways, Kempville, 1928. Constable Norman F. Maker, Peterborough, OPP, 1928. County Constable Samuel J. Vanstone, Ontario County, 1928. Constable Albert E. Fisher, Toronto, 1928. Chief Edward Lavery, Prescott Police, 1928. Traffic Officer Miles Campbell, Department of Highways, Ottawa, 1928. Detective William R. Clark, Hamilton, 1929. Constable Thomas I. Kehoe, Bancroft, 1929. Traffic Officer Aylmer F. H. Wilson, Department of Highways, Leamington, 1929. Traffic Officer Fred Bingley, Department of Highways, Hagersville, 1929. Sergeant Thomas Kirk, York County, 1930. Constable James A. McNichol, Crowland Township, 1930. Constable Roy A. McQuillan, Toronto, 1930. Constable Blair C. Brown, Trenton, 1931. Constable John F. Montgomery, Westboro, OPP, 1931. Chief John W. Burden, Strathroy, 1931. Constable Albert J. No, Sudbury, 1931. Constable Charles Hefferon, Brampton, OPP, 1932. Constable Daniel J. Craig, Chesterville, 1932. Constable Joseph D. Ferrari, Toronto, 1932. Constable Russell Lemon, Kitchener, OPP, 1934. Constable Colin C. McGregor, St. Thomas, 1934. Chief Thomas McCann, East York Township, 1934. Constable Edward McMaster, Toronto, 1935. Constable Edward Knox, Toronto, 1935. Constable George E. J. Lewis, Sarnia, 1936. Constable Orville E. Story, Owen Sound, OPP, 1936. Constable Robert C. Malig, Canadian National Railway, 1937. Constable George E. Horan, Belleville, RCMP, 1937. Sergeant Frederick Davidson, Sudbury, 1937.
Constable David D. Beckett, Windsor, 1937. Constable Bartlett Smith, Stamford Centre, OPP, 1937. Constable Robert D. Eddington, Warren, OPP, 1938. Constable Donald C. Sherville, Hamilton, OPP, 1938. Detective James H. Watson, Toronto, 1938. Constable Elmer A. Shepherd, Kirkland Lake, OPP, 1938. Detective Sergeant Thomas A. Whitelaw, Metropolitan Toronto, 1938. Constable Frederick R. T. Blucher, Port Credit, OPP, 1939. Constable Alfred J. Ferguson, Brockville, OPP, 1940. Constable Harold H. Dent, Rockland, OPP, 1940. Constable Donald L. Pickell, Mimico, OPP, 1940. County Constable Harry Fordham, Elgin County, 1942. Constable John W. Scott, Toronto, 1942. Constable John Moyes, Peterborough, 1942. Chief Thomas Espay, Pembroke, 1943. Constable Charles F. Heiner, Toronto, 1943. Constable George R. Vanderveer, Sarnia, 1944. Constable John Tevens, Guelph, 1945. Constable Robert W. Duncan, Bowmanville, OPP, 1945. Detective Thomas Stoneman, Ottawa, 1945. Constable Robert A. Wright, Toronto, 1945. Constable Francis A. Graham, Windsor, 1947. Constable Douglas Reynolds, Chatham, 1947. Constable Merritt C. Gray, Kingston, 1948. Constable George Yule, Brampton OPP, 1948. Constable James B. Henderson, Kingston RCMP, 1948. Constable Reginald G. Morden, Little Currant OPP, 1949. Constable Edward Terrell, Sudbury, 1949. Constable Jerry Doe, Sudbury, 1949. Constable John Ferguson, Exeter OPP, 1949. Constable Cecil Holden, Toronto, 1950. Constable Frank Hare, Port Dover, 1951. Sergeant Joseph R. Battersby, Toronto, 1951. Constable Millard A. Brennan, Kingston, 1951. County Constable Mont A. Wood, Lennox and Addington County, 1951. Sergeant of Detectives Edmund Tong, Toronto, 1952. Detective Sergeant James Priest, Toronto, 1952.
Corporal Harold T. Shaughnessy, Port Colborne OPP, 1953. Corporal Henry Gilchrist, Tilsonburg OPP, 1954. Constable Kenneth Lennon, Etobicoke Township, 1954. Constable George Constantino, Ottawa, 1954. Constable Ernest Paul, Coppercliff, 1955. Constable John A.C. Bahan, Perth OPP, 1956. Constable Louis R. Durant, Markham Township, 1956. Sergeant Claire J. McGillan, Peterborough, 1957. Constable Philip H. Delarue, Matheson OPP, 1957. Constable Peter R. Siborn, Kenora OPP, 1957. Constable Henry J. Harper, Gananoque OPP, 1957. Constable Ronald Pitt, Morrisburg, 1957. Constable George W. Smith, Windsor, 1957. Corporal Herbert M. Smart, Toronto RCMP, 1958. Constable Maurice Melnichuk, Toronto RCMP, 1958. Constable George H.E. Ransom, Aurelia RCMP, 1958. Constable Glenn F. Farrow, Aurelia RCMP, 1958. Constable David M. Perry, Aurelia RCMP, 1958. Constable Willis J. Jacob, Barrie OPP, 1958. Constable Calvin R. Fullard, Ear Falls OPP, 1958. Constable John B. Perkins, Metropolitan Toronto, 1959. Constable Edward R. Wickens, Aurelia OPP, 1960. Constable Theodore D. Christensen, Metropolitan Toronto, 1961. Constable Dennis J. Winstanley, Stamford Township, 1962. Constable Frederick J. Nash, Metropolitan Toronto, 1962. Corporal James S. McDonald, Pembroke, OPP, 1962. Constable David R. Gregory, Hamilton, 1962. Constable Thomas J. Black, Woodstock, 1962. Constable Harley Highland, Sandwich, East Township, 1963. Constable Jeffrey Armstrong, Ottawa, 1963. Constable Arthur T. Truman, Metropolitan Toronto, 1963. Constable Patrick C. Armstrong, Powassan OPP, 1963. Detective Kenneth J. Evans, Metropolitan Toronto, 1963. Detective Sergeant John H. Bassett, Metropolitan Toronto, 1963. Constable Walter E. McCauley, Guelph, 1964. Constable Alexander M. Proden, Dutton OPP, 1964. Sergeant Luray C. Quisnell, Sudbury, 1965.
Constable Ronald F. Webster, Toronto Township, 1966. Constable John R. Mackey, Rockcliffe OPP, 1966. Constable Edward G. Holdsworth, Whitchurch Township, 1966. Constable Thomas J. Emery, Downsview OPP, 1967. Constable James I. Hamilton, Listowel OPP, 1967. Chief Cully F. Rocher, Listowel, 1967. Constable Gerald F. Mills, Whitchurch Township, 1962. Constable Peter J. Kirk, Hawkesbury OPP, 1968. Constable Samuel E. Ankenman, Sebringville OPP, 1968. Constable Bradford E. Brown, Sudbury OPP, 1968. Detective Sergeant Lorne J. Chapatis, Peterborough OPP, 1968. Corporal James Smith, Peterborough OPP, 1968. Sergeant John C. McMurrick, Hamilton, 1968. Constable Robert C. Carrick, Sandwich West Township, 1969. Constable David Goldsworthy, Metropolitan Toronto, 1969. Sergeant David Tuckey, Ottawa, 1970. Constable William R. Rogers, Petrolia OPP, 1970. Constable Stephen H. Schultz, Brantford OPP, 1970. Constable Mark L. Holden, Trenton, 1970. Constable John C. A. Varral, Oakville OPP, 1971. Constable Donald H. Lewis, Metropolitan Toronto, 1972. Detective Douglas T. Sinclair, Metropolitan Toronto, 1972. Detective Michael Irwin, Metropolitan Toronto, 1972. Constable Claire L. Lackey, Little Current OPP, 1972. Constable James Lothian, Metropolitan Toronto, 1973. Constable Leslie Maitland, Metropolitan Toronto, 1973. Corporal Evan V. Gilmore, Spanish OPP, 1973. Detective Thomas B. Cooper, Kingston, 1973. Constable Leonard G. Slater, North Bay, 1973. Constable Vaughan B. McKay, Sudbury OPP, 1973. Constable Luciano J. Di Simone, Niagara Regional, 1974. Constable Gerald A. Thompson, Kemptville OPP, 1975. Constable Maurice R. J. Chatterson, Forest OPP, 1975. Constable Gary V. MacDonald, Forest OPP, 1975. Detective Ronald G. Sproul, Peel Regional, 1975. Constable Lee E. Wilson, Metropolitan Toronto, 1975. Corporal Donald R. Irwin, Kitchener OPP, 1976.
Corporal Ronald E. Lee, Dowling OPP, 1976. Constable Paul G. Gosling, Metropolitan Toronto, 1976. Constable David C. Kirkwood, Ottawa, 1967. Sergeant Ronald E. McKean, Collingwood, 1977. Constable John S. Kuznier, Thunder Bay, 1978. Constable William I. Seward, Toronto RCMP, 1978. Constable James L. Bigby, Trenton, 1978. Constable John Lau, Kingston, 1978. Constable Henry Snedden, Metropolitan Toronto, 1978. Constable Paul E. Patterson, Oak Ridges OPP, 1978. Constable Duncan T. McAleese, Simcoe OPP, 1980. Constable George H. Bennett, Aurelia OPP, 1980. Constable Michael W. Sweet, Metropolitan Toronto, 1980. Constable Thomas Hicks, Sudbury OPP, 1980. Constable William F. Shores, Dutton OPP, 1980. Constable Richard M. Verdecchia, Huntsville OPP, 1981. Constable Kenneth M. Sweat, Ottawa OPP, 1981. Constable Percival B. Cummins, Metropolitan Toronto, 1981. Constable Barry F. McKinnon, Hamilton RCMP, 1981. Constable William H. Smith, North Bay OPP, 1982. Detective Inspector Lauren I. Ferran, Toronto OPP, 1982. Constable Richard J. C. Hopkins, Mount Forest OPP, 1982. Detective William T. Hawkins, Gill Regional, 1982. Constable Volker H. Seha, Gill Regional, 1982. Constable Russell O'Connor, Ottawa, 1983. Constable Bruce K. Crew, Goderich OPP, 1983. Constable David W. Utman, Nepean, 1983. Corporal William F. McIntyre, Toronto OPP, 1984. Constable Douglas F. Tribling, York Regional, 1984. Constable Wayne B. Pucalla, Gill Regional, 1984. Constable David A. Dunmore, Metropolitan Toronto, 1984. Constable John G. Ross, Woodstock OPP, 1984. Constable William H. J. Grant, York Regional, 1984. Constable Vernon L. Miller, Matheson OPP, 1984. Constable Richard J. McLaughlin, Spanish OPP, 1985. Constable Donald C. Campbell, Kincardine OPP, 1985. Constable Mario J. E. Tessier, Ottawa RCMP, 1985.
Constable Randall F. Skidmore, Coboconk OPP, 1986. Corporal Maurice R. Levoy, Little Current OPP, 1986. Constable Stephen J. Peasel, Niagara Regional, 1988. Constable Hugh G. M. Lynn, Metropolitan Toronto, 1988. Constable John R. Gregovsky, Niagara Falls OPP, 1989. Constable Thomas J. Cooper, Grassy Narrows OPP, 1991. Constable Brian J. Hutchinson, Ottawa RCMP, 1991. Constable Scott W. D. Rossiter, Ingersoll, 1991. Constable Andrew B. Gordon, Maddock OPP, 1992. Constable Vicky Lynn Wilson, Durham, 1992. Constable Jeffrey Paolozzi, Niagara Regional, 1993. Constable Richard E. Neisted, Minden OPP, 1993. Constable Joseph J. MacDonald, Sudbury Regional, 1993. Constable Jean J. A. Deforge, Castleman OPP, 1993. Constable Richard M. Jean, Castleman OPP, 1993. Constable Albert S. Taylor, Nakatchewan First Nation, 1993. Constable Todd E. Bayliss, Metropolitan Toronto, 1994. Constable John W. Knight, Metropolitan Toronto, 1994. Constable Kenneth Y. Roy, South Porcupine OPP, 1995. Constable Michael W. Gula, Niagara Falls OPP, 1996. Constable Thomas P. Coffin, Midland OPP, 1997. Detective Constable William D. J. Hancox, Toronto, 1998. Constable David R. Nicholson, Waterloo Regional, 1998. Detective Constable Keith A. Badger, Caledon OPP, 1998. Sergeant Richard T. MacDonald, Sudbury Regional, 1999. Constable Charles Mercier, Niagara Falls OPP, 1999. Constable James C. McFadden, Chatham Kent OPP, 1999. Sergeant Margaret J. Eve, Chatham Kent OPP, 2000. Constable Laura J. Ellis, Toronto, 2002. Constable Paul Nudar, Walpole Island, First Nation, 2002. Constable Alan Kuzmik, South Simcoe, 2002. Constable Philip R. Shrive, Renfrew OPP, 2003. Constable John P. Flagg, Kingston OPP, 2003. Constable Christopher Garrett, Coburg, 2004. Constable Tyler L. Boutillier, Grenville OPP, 2004. Constable Michael J. A. Sydock, Port Credit OPP, 2004. Constable Andrew J. Potts, Bracebridge OPP, 2005.
Corporal Matthew D. J. Dinning, 2nd MP Regiment CFB Petawawa, 2006. Constable John C. Atkinson, Windsor, 2006. Constable Donald J. Y. Doucette, Sault Ste. Marie, 2006. Constable David Mounsey, Huron OPP, 2006. Constable Robert J. Plunkett, York Regional, 2007. Constable Alan Hack, Elgin, OPP, 2009. Constable Eric Chapnick, Ottawa, 2009. Chief Superintendent Douglas E. Coates, Ottawa, RCMP, 2010. Constable James Jakowski, Peel Regional, 2010. Constable Vu D. Pham, Huron OPP, 2010. Sergeant Ryan Russell, Toronto, 2011. Constable Garrett Stiles, York Regional, 2011. Constable Jennifer A. Kovach, Guelph, 2013. Constable John Zivchit, Toronto, 2013. Constable Joseph G. B. Prevet, Thunder Bay, 2014. Constable Joan Vembretta, Niagara Regional, 2020. Constable Mark Hoving, Manitoulin OPP, 2020. Constable Jeffrey Northrup, Toronto, 2021. Constable Andrew Hong, Toronto, 2022. Constable Devin Northrup, South Simcoe, 2022. Constable Morgan Russell, South Simcoe, 2022. Constable Gregory Perchala, Haldeman OPP, 2022. Sergeant Eric Mueller, Russell County, OPP, 2023. Detective Constable Stephen Taranjo, Perth County, OPP, 2023. Constable Craig Town, Thunder Bay, 2023.
Parade of 10. John. Color party, shoulder, arms. Good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you are able for the entrance of the Vice-Regal Party, and please remain standing for the Vice-Regal Salute. Vice-Regal Salute, present arms. Stand up for this. Parade, shoulder, arms. The Ontario Police Memorial Ceremony of Remembrance is called to order. Your Honor, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singings of the national anthems of the United States and Canada.
Parade, General Salute, present, arch! Parade, shoulder, arch! Parade, order, arch!
Please be seated.
Parade.
I would ask Father Jim Mockler to deliver the opening prayer.
We pray and we reflect. God of compassion and love, we ask your blessing on our province. May we never take for granted its beauty found in our land and our people. Coming to this sacred place, we keep the flames of gratitude, faith, and hope alive in our hearts. As we read the names upon the markers, we are grateful that these names have also been written for all ages in the palm of your loving hand. Hold those who have gone before us in your loving embrace. Remind us that nothing dies. Life is only transformed into new life. So, we come to honor lives given and lives lived in the service of the citizens of Ontario. Give them all a holy rest and peace at the last, with their duty complete. Amen.
Thank you, Father. Your Honor, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Jason Tomlinson. It is indeed an honor and a privilege for me to serve as your Master of Ceremonies today. Once again, in this, our 26th year, we carry on the tradition of honoring our heroes in life. I thank you, one and all, for being present here today at the Ceremony of Remembrance. The memorial site forever stands as a symbol of our respect and gratitude for the service and the ultimate sacrifice of 283 of our fallen colleagues. I would now like to introduce the President of the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation, Mr. Colin Woods.
Bonjour, good morning. On behalf of the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation Board of Directors, thank you for joining us today for the 2025 Ceremony of Remembrance. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered today on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. This land is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. As we come together in solemn reflection, we do so with deep respect for the Indigenous peoples who have lived and cared for this land for generations. May this acknowledgement be more than just words. May it guide us towards truth, reconciliation, and a meaningful partnership. I want to welcome the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario, Her Honour Edith Dumont, and her partner, His Honour Tony Viscardi. I would also like to welcome the Premier of Ontario, His Honour Doug Ford, as well as the Solicitor General of Ontario, the Honourable Michael Kersner. We're also grateful to the provincial ministers, members of Parliament, municipal leaders, police service leaders, and police association leaders who are here with us today. Your presence here today is a meaningful sign of your support for the families of the fallen, heroes, and members of Ontario's policing community. Most importantly, I want to acknowledge and thank you to the families of the fallen who are here with us today. The parents, spouses, children, siblings, and loved ones who carry the deepest burden of loss, we see your strength, and we're here to carry the memory forward with you. Today, we gather to honor the lives, the courage, and the legacy of Ontario's fallen police officers. We stand together as family members, colleagues, and community members to remember those who have made the ultimate sacrifice to the service to the people of this province. Each of the 283 names etched on the memorial behind me tells a story of dedication, service, and profound loss. These women and men put on the uniform, knowing the risks, yet choosing each day to uphold justice, protect the vulnerable, and preserve peace. This year, we're solemnly adding 2 more names to the wall: Special Constable Wilfred Fairless and Constable Craig Town. In 1910, Wilfred Fairless was 26 years young and was working for the Canadian National Railway. In October of that year, due to devastating forest fires surrounding Rainy River, Ontario, Wilfred was called upon and appointed as a special constable to help deal with the surge of people coming into Rainy River after being displaced by these fires. On the night of October 9th, Wilfred was on patrol when he was shot and severely beaten by unknown assailants and left to die on the side of the road. He was found barely alive and transported to Winnipeg, Manitoba for treatment of his injuries. Sadly, on December 21st, Wilfred succumbed to his injuries. Though he may not have envisioned himself as a police officer, when his community needed him the most, he answered the call. In the end, he paid the ultimate sacrifice, trying only to keep his community safe. May we always remember Special Constable Wilfred Fairless. In September of 1991, Craig Town had been a constable with the Thunder Bay Police Service for 2 years. On the night of September 27th, Craig and other officers were dealing with an arrested individual at the police station when that same individual began to fight with them. During the ensuing struggle, the arrested individual managed to seize his firearm and shot Craig twice. Craig survived, but his injuries left him with debilitating injuries. What followed next was nothing short of extraordinary. Craig met his new reality with courage and resilience. Knowing affectionately as Rolo Cop to his colleagues at home, he continued to serve as a source of strength and pride for the colleagues and his community. He returned to this very ceremony many times, paying tribute to fellow officers, even as he bore the weight of his own sacrifice. Sadly, in August of 2023, Craig passed away due to health complications that had progressed because of the injuries he sustained all those years prior. May we always remember Constable Craig Town. Every name on this wall behind me carries with it a story. Some were just beginning their careers, while others had spent decades in service. None is more important than the next. Each one is cherished. Each one is remembered. To the families here today, we see you, we honor your loved ones, and will always carry their memory with us, reverence and pride. Policing is not just a profession, it is a calling. And today we bow our heads in remembrance. We also lift our hearts in gratitude. Gratitude for the strength and bravery of those we've lost. Gratitude for those who continue to serve. Gratitude for the unwavering support of the families and communities who stand with us today. Let this ceremony not only remember the past, but renew our collective commitment to support those who serve, to care for the families left behind, and to build a community where the sacrifices of our fallen are never forgotten. May we always remember, may we never forget, heroes in life, not death. Miigwech, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I introduce the Honorable Edith Dumont, Lieutenant Governor of Ontario.
Premier Ford, Mr. Tomlinson, families of the fallen, Madam Speaker, elected officials, distinguished guests, chères familles et amis, je suis profondément honoré d'être avec vous ce matin. Today, on this first Sunday in May, and in this season of renewal, we gather to remember officers who were heroes in life. Heroes such as Constable Greg Town. He was a hero when he joined the police service in 1989. He was a hero when in 1991 he was working at Thunder Bay Police Station and an incident occurred that left him with life-changing injuries. And he was a hero from then until his passing some 32 years later. As we have heard from the community in Thunder Bay, he would continue to live life to the fullest, traveling, camping, singing with his choir church, and staying on as an official member of the police service. Quite clearly, Constable Town was an inspiration to those around him. May his life and his story inspire generations to come, including all those who visit this memorial and see his name. Today, we also look back into Ontario's history as we honor Constable Wilfred Furleys, who died in 1910 while protecting his community, Rainy River. His name too joins those of his colleagues whose lives and whose service we commit to remembering every first Sunday in May and every day. For a quarter of a century, this memorial has stood in this small and tranquil park in our provincial capital, a place where those of us who work and study nearby can visit for some quiet and reflective time, and where everyone can find a calm space in the heart of this bustling city. As representative of the Crown in this province, I offer my deepest thanks to the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation for overseeing this memorial, for your diligent historical research, and for bringing us together every year and reminding us that the act of remembrance is an act of connection. Today, as colleagues, neighbors, family, friends, and citizens, we demonstrate and strengthen our connections. In solidarity and in unity, we commit to carrying forward the value that those whose watch has ended gave their lives to preserve. Aujourd'hui, collègues, familles, amis, citoyennes et citoyens de l'Ontario, nous nous recueillons avec respect et reconnaissance. Portés par la solidarité, nous réaffirmons notre engagement à faire vivre les valeurs pour lesquelles tant d'hommes et de femmes ont donné leur vie. N'oublions jamais lest we forget.
Thank you, Your Honor. It is now my privilege to introduce and call upon the Honorable Michael Kersner, Solicitor General. Excuse me. Actually, Premier, would you like to go first? The Honorable Doug Ford.
First of all, thank you so much, Your Honor, Madam Speaker. I want to, on behalf of Michael Kersner, our Solicitor General, Mario Di Tommaso, our Deputy Minister, and all my caucus, I just have to tell you, our caucus loves our police. We absolutely love you, and we'll always have your backs, and we'll always be there to protect you. I also want to acknowledge Mayor Chow. I understand. I just don't see her. I understand she's here. But thank you for your service, and always, always support our police. Thank you to the members of the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation, and in particular, I want to recognize every officer and family member here today. I also want to acknowledge Commissioner Creek, Chief Demkew, and all the other chiefs from around our province, and the women and men that serve every single day, that put their lives on the line to protect our communities. I will continue to be an advocate to make sure that the criminals stay behind the bars in jail, to make sure that they don't go out and repeat offenses, these heinous crimes that we've seen over and over again. I want to thank them all for their incredible work, and thank you for everyone being here today. For 26 years now, we've been gathering in front of this memorial to pay tribute to the police who have tragically fallen in the line of duty, and to acknowledge the strength and resilience of those fallen officers and families. I had an opportunity yesterday to meet with Sol, the widows of fallen officers, and when you sit and you speak to them, and you get to know them, you know, and the loss they feel, and the loss their families feel, I can tell folks from Sol, I will always be there to support you. Anything you need, I will be there to support you. Today we add two historical names to the memorial. As you have heard from other speakers, we're honoring Rainy River Police Constable Wilfred Fairless, who in the autumn of 1910 lost his life after being attacked while on patrol. We'll also honor Thunder Bay Police Services Constable Craig Cameron Town. As you heard, in 1991, Constable Town was shot and paralyzed while on duty. Despite his life-altering injury, he continued to serve with great distinction until his retirement due to complications from his injury. Constable Town, as you heard, passed away in August 2023. Today is a chance for us to come together and remember the sacrifices made by the brave officers who gave their lives to protect the people of this province. And I think too many times the average public just take it for granted. When you have a family member or a loved one that walks out that door every single day, you pray that they walk back through that door at nighttime. And as we've seen, that doesn't always happen. But we will do everything we can. I'll do everything in my powers to make sure every officer returns home to their loved ones. It's only by the grace of God that more names haven't been added to this memorial this year. We've seen too many over the years since I've taken office almost 7 years ago. I'm here today to say to the members of our police services, I want to thank you for the risk you take on a daily basis while protecting us from harm. As I always say, when the police officers go through that front door, you don't know what's on the other side of that door. And that's the sacrifice they do every day Just imagine going to work not knowing if you're going to return or not. There's very few jobs in this country you can say that about. We will continue to honor the memories of our brave members in uniform and stand with their families and their loved ones. Our government will always have your backs. I just want to thank you for having us today, and may God bless the women and men in uniform, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. It is now my privilege to introduce and call upon the Honorable Michael Kersner, Solicitor General of Ontario.
Our province reveals itself again, not only by the people that call Ontario home, but by the brave men and women that come forward to keep us safe. Votre Honneur, Premier Ford, Madam Speaker, distinguished guests, members of the legislature, and families of those we remember today. What we leave behind is not as important as how we have lived. And to live, you must find that glimmer of light, even in the darkest of places. We pause and reflect on the memory and service of 283 heroes in life inscribed on this memorial. We remember Constable Wilford Fairless of the Rainy River Police Service, and we also remember Constable Craig Town of the Thunder Bay Police Service. In 1991, he was shot while in the line of duty, and he was broken but not deterred and continued to serve with honor for over 30 years after this incident. Craig was supported by his faith and family, especially his wife and his sons. He was proud to be a regular attendee of this very ceremony, admitting freely that being a police officer was the best job he ever had. And to the families of our heroes in life, we cannot bear as you do the full impact of their loss, but especially in this place, we feel your pain. Your loved ones were daring and brave, and they had a joie de vivre, that special spirit that says, give me a challenge and I'll meet it with joy. They had a hunger to be curious, dedicated to discover life's truths. And they wanted to serve, and they did. We know that their profession does not belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. And they knew that you've got to push the boundaries to make a difference in the communities you serve. Les raisons de leur service est pour faire une différence dans la vie des gens lorsqu'ils ne s'y attendent pas. Et parce que nous croyons en notre province et en notre avenir. We believe so much in our province and in our future. This is our Ontario story. Our police services are more than just the simple sum of their parts, and more than just a respective team, and more than just a list of achievements. They're part of the tapestry of our province. Our police officers remind us each day that things are impossible until they're not, that you can be vulnerable, but not fragile. And you can possess a core of strength stronger than the worst that life can bring. Those who serve know that bravery is far more common than imagined, sometimes emerging with sudden splendor, even in the face of death. This is our Ontario story. And again today, we hear the pipes and the drums. It's our Ontario sound. It's hopeful and patriotic and big-hearted and caring and decent and fair. We will never forget about those who braved a path so we could live. May the glimmer of light that emerges from the darkness always shine upon them. May they rest in peace. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, the All Nation Singers will perform the honor song. Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony of remembrance continues with the laying of the wreaths at the base of the memorial wall by our honored dignitaries and guests who will be escorted by our Guard of Honor. On behalf of the people of Ontario, the Honorable Edith Dumont, Lieutenant Governor. On behalf of the Government of Ontario, the Honourable Doug Ford. On behalf of the members of Ontario's Police Services and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Thunder Bay Police Chief Darcy Fleury. On behalf of the police officers of the United States of America, Thunder Bay Police Constable Christopher Holing. On behalf of the families, Jenny Hong and Jillian Town. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join us in an act of remembrance. This will consist of the last post, a moment of silence, the lament, firing of salute, and reveille.
Parade attention! Color parties, shoulder arms. Parade general salute, present arms. Parade, shoulder, arms. Parade, general salute, present arms. Parade, shoulder, arms.
We will now call upon Father Jim Mockler to deliver the benediction.
As we prepare to move off, let us now carry forward our memories, the memories of those we continue to honor with reverence and gratitude, while offering to their families our unwavering support and solidarity. As well, we ask to be strengthened. May we always hold in our hearts the safety, physical health, and mental well-being of all police personnel, both sworn and civilian. May they be protected from harm, strengthened by resilience, and upheld by the unwavering support of their colleagues and every citizen. In a spirit of unity and our shared humanity, we renew our determination to honor the legacy of those who have given their lives in service to others.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national and royal anthems.
Parade, general salute, present arms.
Hero
Parade, shoulder, arms.
Thank you. Please be seated. Those officers or family members who wish to march with their services are able to do so now. Should you wish to get up and join your colleagues in the march, please do so now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for your attendance today, for your part in making this ceremony of remembrance a fitting tribute to the lives of those heroes who lived and died and continue to live on in our hearts and our memories. Heroes in life, not death. On behalf of the Ontario Police Memorial Foundation, the officers on parade, and all the family and friends here today, I would like to acknowledge and thank the Lieutenant Governor, Premier, the Solicitor General for their attendance and continued support of this event. The Ontario Memorial Foundation would also like to give special thanks to York Regional Police Chief Jim McSween, Durham Police Chief Peter Barrera, and Ontario Provincial Police Commissioner Thomas Carrique for their invaluable contributions in making the police helicopter flyby a reality and helping us honor the memory of our fallen heroes in a poignant manner. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. As the parade prepares to march past, I would ask that our guests remain at their seats. Upon completion of today's ceremony, I would like to invite everyone for refreshments and food, which will be set up and served at the northeast corner of Queen's Park Crescent East and Wellesley Street West. Just back behind me here. We would then like to invite the families of Constable Craigtown and Wilfred Farrells, along with the families of fallen, to join in the viewing march past. Following the families, the remainder of today's guests are invited to attend. Thank you.
RCMP, OPP, military police. Move to the left in column of route. Left, turn. Remainder will move to the right. Right, turn. RCMP, OPP, military police. Stand fast. Remainder, by the right. Quick, march. flag parade, wreath parade. At 10, shot. Do your duty. Yes, missed. Parade, RCMP, OPP, military police. By the right wheel,